main concern is your safety. Kensington Financial Service keeps your financial future safe. Stay tuned for Kensington Financial Dollars and Cents.
There is a bank that makes a great addition to any small business or a great beginning for any entrepreneur, a bank that's focused on building a personal relationship with you. Enterprise Bank employs highly professional relationship managers with a vested interest in helping your business grow. They themselves are small business entrepreneurs who can empathize with the challenges of growing a small business. For your business needs, count on Enterprise Bank, the bank that is built for your business.
During Ladle's Kitchen, I am here to show you how to make marvelous soups for your family, great entrees, desserts, and even some appetizers. But my other love is decorating. As you can see, many of these items were purchased at Ladle's Country Cupboard, just a few steps away. Visit Ladle's Country Cupboard to pick up an item for your home or for your kitchen. Thank you.
Sponsored in part by Emeritus Variable Life Insurance Company, providing variable life and variable annuities since 1983. Emeritus Variable Life is a unified company.
Welcome to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. We're coming to you today from the lovely Holiday Inn in downtown Johnstown. My name is Ralph Phillips, and with me, as always, is my lovely co-host, Amy Tattern. Amy, hi.
Hi, Ralph.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about women in business and investing, and we are lucky enough to have a guest on the show. Her name is Roberta Ream, and she is the Vice President and Trust Officer of the Somerset Trust Company.
AKLC Studios, professional quality at hometown prices.
When we have dance recitals, it's important to capture the memories of our dance shows for the students to keep for their families. For the past 3 years, I have used AKLC Studios. They have provided quality videos at an affordable price that my dance studio can afford. I cherish these videos with my students.
Experience the same great service and exceptional product that you can expect for all of our video production services.
Hi, I'm Ross Walker of the Ross Walker Funeral Home in New Kensington.
And I'm Lisa Walker. My brother and I are proud to carry on the tradition of caring for families as our father did before us.
Our reputation of dealing fairly and providing funerals for all faiths and nationalities dates back generations.
We believe our service is second to none. Call us at need or pre-need.
Visit our modern facilities. There's plenty of parking and we're conveniently located.
For all of your estate planning or estate settlement needs, you can depend on attorney Charles E. Weston to develop a plan that fits your specific need. With over 30 years of experience, your needs are in good hands. Call for a free consultation on any estate subject today.
Welcome back to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. We're talking with Roberta Ream. She's Vice President and Trust Officer of Somerset Trust Company. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Bobby, I wanted to start out the conversation by having you just tell us a little bit about yourself and Somerset Bank and your experiences as a woman in business.
Okay. I am with Somerset Trust Company, and actually we have been in business for over 100 years. We are one of the few community banks that are actually left in town. And what we've found through that is, and this is why I was so appreciative that you asked me to join you today, because this is what we find that's so important for our clients, is actually talking with them about what their needs are.
Have you found many obstacles holding you back from progressing, whether it's moving up the corporate ladder or making more money? Anything affecting your family life?
Well, that's a loaded question. How many days do we have? Well, actually, and I'm aging myself, but I have been in banking for almost 30 years. And personally, I started out as a teller, which, a lot of folks do. And so the opportunities were open to me. I was blessed with working with good companies, and I also have a lot of drive, which really made a big difference. But we have found that typically women, even though women's wages are increasing at a faster rate than men's, women are still making 70–80% of what a man's wage is. And yes, there are times where doors aren't necessarily opened as easily for women, but I just really believe that through education, such as this show and seminars and education for ourselves as women and working with good companies, the doors are opening. As far as in the community, I think that if you really have a passion for the organization that you're working with in the community, it shows, and that respect does come.
Women need a plan
yes,
for their money.
Absolutely. Women are living into their 80s. 83 was the last average age I saw. Men are living to the last average age I saw with that is 76. So we're going to have maybe 78. So we're going to have more years that we need our financial assets to be there to support us. And especially in the situation that you mentioned, women typically, because they are making less, are receiving less Social Security. They may or may not have a pension, and if they are using their husband's pension, it could be only half of what he was earning. And if you need your money to last for an additional 5 or 10 years, as you said, the plan has to be, put in place. Otherwise, we're going to find ourselves 75% of the elderly are poor, and a lot of that is due to the lack of planning.
Okay, planning, investing our money. Mm-hmm. In your company, have you yourself or have you helped clients do some investing? Can you tell us what some of the options are? Things that we can do with our money to ensure that we're going to have it when we need it.
Actually, the very first step would be to talk to somebody that you trust, be it Kensington Financial, be it Somerset Trust, but talk to someone that you trust about what your goals are and your actual situation. And then that will help you determine how much you need to save or how much you can afford to save. And then you need to actually go into that plan and force yourself to save. Women typically save half as much as men do. So, there's one of the things that we can change immediately. And then once we do that and we start with a plan as far as the actual physical investments, it's not that they're different. Men's investments and women's investments aren't necessarily different. It's just that women need more education because they want to understand, and because we haven't had the opportunity to have that information available as early as men did. So, the investing would be done on a custom basis, same as we would do for our clients, custom basis, and same as you would do for your clients on a custom basis. If somebody ever says, oh, you're a woman and I'm going to put you into this category, please run, because nobody deserves to be categorized like that. Everybody is an individual.
We're going to take a real quick break, so please stay tuned for more Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents.
For all of your estate planning or estate settlement needs, you can depend on Attorney Charles E. Weston to develop a plan that fits your specific need. With over 30 years of experience, your needs are in good hands. Call for a free consultation on any estate subject today.
At Kensington Financial, we pride ourselves on not only putting together the appropriate long-term plan for you, but also, and almost more importantly, on making sure that we execute that plan appropriately over the long term. Once we've done that, there's plenty of time for you to go out and enjoy the finer things in life, like a phenomenal meal and a great bottle of wine.
Welcome to Harrigan's Cafe and Wine Deck at the Holiday Inn, downtown Johnstown. My name is Amy Tattern, and joining me is co-host Ralph Phillips. Hi, Ralph.
Hi, Amy.
And general manager of the hotel, Mr. Samuel Phillips.
Hello.
Everything looks beautiful. Could you explain what we're going to eat?
Sure, we're going to be trying a roasted free-range chicken this evening, and it's It's on a natural jus, and it's paired with mashed potatoes and wild mushrooms.
You've also paired up a wine for us this evening.
This is a Columbia Crest Chardonnay from the Columbia Valley in Washington State. And it's an outstanding, relatively full-bodied, buttery Chardonnay, highly rated but not overpriced. So it's a great selection to go with the free-range chicken this evening.
Fantastic. Sam, with so many great selections on the menu and such a depth in your wine list, I can see why Harrigan's Cafe and Wine Deck has become so popular in Johnstown. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for joining us.
Please hold on. We'll be right back after a few commercial messages, so stay with us.
Sponsored in part by Emeritus Variable Life Insurance Company, providing variable life and variable annuities since 1983. Emeritus Variable Life is a unified company.
Does that go back to the caveman days where they smacked us on the head and dragged us by
Drug
the hair?
us off?
Yeah.
Probably.
Is that?
Probably. And a lot of times I find that, especially, say, 60 years and older, that the men were the ones that were taking care of their wives.
They dominated.
And so they also believed that that was their role, was to be the breadwinner, take care of the finances, and take care of everything for the women, and therefore the women never really learned how to take care of things on their own.
What happens when the man goes? The woman all of a sudden has to know everything?
Yes, and
What
that's
a disaster.
It is an absolute disaster. We find that that's typically the case. So, pre-planning is so important to be able to set up a trust, or at least be able to set up what your goals are, so that when you run into that situation, you have somebody that you can trust that already understands what your needs are, and they can follow through and guide you with that.
One of the most important themes in the show, Bobby, and we come back to it even sometimes by accident. Hopefully most of the time it's by design, but one of the most important themes of the show is planning. Proper financial planning, and everything seems to always come back to the plan, whether we're talking about estate planning or doing charitable remainder trusts, or talking about women and investing. You just brought it up. It comes back to the plan.
And that really is the foundation for everything.
Have you done any work? Have you done seminars or presentations to women's groups to try and open their eyes about some of the things that they need to know and the planning work that they need to start doing right now?
Yes, and we actually find that there's more of a need for that. As if we do one seminar, we find out that there's a need to do 2, 3, and 4. And I really don't believe that women's needs are that much different than the men's. It's just that the typical role, which we were just speaking about, is that the men took care of everything. And the women actually are better as far as if you were going to characterize men versus women. Women typically can see the big picture and the long-term goal better than the men.
No question.
And women like to dig through the information and truly educate themselves and understand before they make decisions. And so hence they are typically a little more cautious to begin with, and probably much more conservative prior to that education, simply because if you don't understand it, you're not going to jump in with both feet. And so we find that even though the education that we give the women is not necessarily different than the education we would give to the men, it's just that the women never were given that opportunity or had the resources to be able to seek those tools out. And so it's simply just bringing together the planning thoughts, which you mentioned, and the types of planning tools that men or women would use, and having the women have a voice as far as what do they need for their family, because just like you mentioned, women are going to live 10 years longer. And I would say probably 90% of all women, due to that fact alone, are going to be the financial the financial person in the family.
Unfortunately, what I found in the planning process is that the male in the partnership situation controls so many of the decisions that the focus goes more and more to what the male desires and wants and needs and the life expectancy and everything else. And we have a tendency to forget about the spouse.
You're exactly
and it
right.
has taken a concerted effort on our part at Kensington Financial to identify that the woman must have a voice, because the money, the funds that we're working with, have to last for her lifetime. Because the man's going to be gone, I'm going to be gone.
Absolutely.
My wife is still going to be here.
Yes.
And it has, the amazing part to me is that it has taken that concerted effort to really sit down with the couple and force the woman to be involved, force that spouse, the wife, to be involved in the process. Otherwise, it just doesn't work out.
You're exactly right. And what I always find interesting is if I was to do a questionnaire with you and your wife, okay? You live in the same household. You would think that you would have the same long-term goals and short-term goals. You would have the financial assets that were the same as each other. But when we do a questionnaire talking about the time frame for investing or the needs that they see both short and long term, the questionnaires are completely different. And typically the women are more conservative with that. And the men are looking, like you said, at this is how long I need the money to last, not thinking about, chances are you're not going to be here.
And we've had to start doing that exact thing, having a couple each fill out a questionnaire, or at least portions of it.
Yes.
Separately. We're going to take a real quick break here, folks. We hope that you'll hang on. We'll be right back with some more discussion about women and investing and women in business. So please hold on. We'll be right back.
Don't wait until it's too late. Burglar, fire, hold-up, and medical alarms for your home, commercial, or industrial needs. Signalgraph Security is a local company that can provide you with the security and service you want. Signalgraph Security will custom design a system for your home or business at a reasonable price and provide you with prompt service when you need it most. At Signalgraph Security, you talk to the same people every time. So for all your security needs, and to save at least 10%, call Signalgraph Security, where your security is our concern.
With Burton Accounting Services, you can file your taxes and get a quick refund through a refund anticipation loan in 1 to 2 days upon bank approval. Or you can get a rapid transfer in 14 days upon tax return acceptance. Tracy Burton at Burton Accounting Services in Tarentum can file your taxes and get you your refund quickly. Call Burton Accounting Services at 724-224-4789.
Tired of struggling with uncomfortable, frustrating hearing aids? Are you ready to experience natural sound again? Well, Vivatone is your answer, a revolutionary new hearing aid that gives you the natural sound without the whistling and echo and noise that you're used to. And unlike many other traditional hearing aids, Vivatone doesn't require the creation of ear molds. To feel the immediate difference, visit Roberta Audiology for a no-obligation trial and ask about saving 20% on Vivatone.
Welcome back to Kensington Financial's Dollars and Cents. We're talking with Bobby Ream about women in business and investing, and we're also trying to prove that women will one day rule this world if men don't first destroy it.
I don't know exactly how to react to that.
With that.
What are some of the, are there some estate planning issues that women need to be aware of that are specific?
Yes, absolutely. First, I find when I do a seminar that I'll ask the question, how many people have wills? And I would say maybe up to 40% of the folks raise their hand. And a lot of the people in these seminars are women, and so that means that 60% don't have a will, which is quite scary because the state has a will for you even if you don't have one, and it's not always the way that you would have planned yourself. So there are some basic estate planning tools that every person should have, male or female, And that would be one, a will stating how you wanted your money to go once you passed on. But there are some other tools too, and speaking specifically for women, I would say one of the tools that we have been utilizing a lot is the revocable or revocable living trust. Now, the will is for everyone. Everyone should have a will. However, the trust may or may not be for the person. It depends on their situation. However, some of the things that we found that really make the women feel so much more secure by having the trust is that, I'll just digress for a second, being that men die prior to women. And typically we are going to live out the end of our life in a nursing home versus, simply passing on and not going through that, or even wanting to be in our own house but having caregivers come in. So if the man is gone and the woman is there alone and she is very frail at that point, health-wise or emotionally incapacitated where she cannot make decisions, the living trust gives her the security of knowing that her wishes are carried through. And the family doesn't have to go to court to say, mom's incapacitated. Right. That is very, very emotional for everyone. And, so then she also doesn't have to worry about being a burden on her children, because as far as paying the bills, making sure the caregivers are there, on and on and on, the right planning will help the women make sure that even in their later years, that things are going to be as they wanted them to be.
Have you found that more and more women are looking at additional security blankets, I guess, like long-term care insurance? They're becoming more and more aware of the costs associated with longer-term care.
Absolutely. We've had a lot of questions about that lately, and they're actually increasing in the number of questions. And there are also some tax benefits depending on your age and if you have a long-term care. But I think that situations like this, as far as us getting out into the public or you getting out in the public and educating them, women are starting to realize that they are going to be living longer and they may end up in a nursing home, and they've got to have the plans and the pieces together, and that is definitely a tool.
So what do you suggest? Classes, seminars on educating? Of course, calling your financial advisor, trying to get a plan going.
Probably, Amy, all of those, whichever works best. I've found that networking works beautifully too. Find a woman or a man, it doesn't matter. Find somebody that you trust and, talk with them. As far as women in business, helping women in business, or women in finances helping women who need to get their financial place in order, that's fantastic. Find somebody that'll mentor you and teach you, but not to sell men short in this situation. Your organization does, I'm not going to sell you short this time. Just find the right person that you trust and have them go through that. Now, granted, a man's not necessarily going to be able to help you with some of the other women issues that we have, like living with men. However,
at what point did I lose control of my own show?
Probably at good afternoon or good morning. But yes, use all those resources that are available.
One of the things that I've found is there are companies, there are organizations, mutual fund companies, banks, that have very specific information targeted for women. Oppenheimer Funds has now and has had for almost 15 years some very specialized information put together in a packet, and it's titled Women and Investing. And it's wonderful because it answers all the questions directly, all the questions that a woman would have about what to accomplish and how to accomplish it and what to start thinking about. So there are organizations out there that are doing the right thing. I just don't necessarily think that we have necessarily done the best job in the financial services industry, because in the end, it's our responsibility.
Yes.
The banks, the brokerage firms, the accountants, the attorneys. One of the reasons why I think it's a problem, and this probably isn't going to make it into the show now that I'm saying it's not going to make it into the show, is that who are you dealing with most of the time?
Mm-hmm.
You're dealing with a man, and not all of us are as necessarily in tune to this as I am. And I am, because I surround myself with women. For goodness sakes, I've got a wife and 2 daughters,
Mm-hmm.
and I've got 2 women who work in my office. And if women don't start stepping up to the plate, taking care of their own house, the problems are only going to mount and get worse, especially as we're moving into the baby boomer generation retiring.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more than any other generation, they're separated, divorced. As we go on, the number of divorced couples is only going to grow that are retiring. So there's not even that other person in the scenario to fall back on, or that you might be able to depend on. You absolutely have to do it all yourself right now.
That's so true, because, you know, between the 3 of us, we could probably mention 10 folks that we know that after 30 years of marriage separated.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that does leave women, it's just not the death of their spouse, but it may be the death of their marriage, or it may be, you know, any other situation that would bring that to light. It's quite interesting, and I absolutely agree with you that we in the financial field sell women short.
Bobby, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. It's been
Thank
wonderful
you.
having you on Dollars and Cents.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
I hope we'll be able to do this again. We've had a wonderful stay here at the Johnstown Holiday Inn in lovely downtown Johnstown. Right, Amy?
Absolutely.
And we want to thank our guest on today's show.
It was Bobby Ream, and she is the Vice President and Trust Officer of Somerset Trust, and she had so much information on women in business and investing.
It was great to have Bobby on the show. If you should have questions, comments, concerns about this show or any other show, please drop us an email at questions@kensingtonfinancial.com. Call us at 724-334-1950, or absolutely stop in and have a cup of coffee with Amy and I. We can sit down and talk about anything you'd like to talk about. The shows in general, this specific show. We can talk about women in investing, wherever your interests lie. As always, thank you so much for allowing us to come into your homes and share some good investing, some good finance tips with you. It's a real honor, and we really do appreciate the opportunity. We'll see you next time, right, Amy?
Absolutely.
Bye-bye. We're confused, but we're easy.
It wouldn't be any
Considering
fun
none of
if
this
we
was
weren't.
planned, you know.
Quite frankly, I don't need to be here. I feel like the fifth. What do you want me to say? You got to help me out. I'm starting to get a little cold. And if it's not okay with you, then
Sure.
you're the boss.
No, that's fine.
I'm here to serve.
Free range chicken.
Why? I think I'm going to be smacked. I don't think she's going to take much more of this. Can I sit here and make faces at her? I'm not in the shot, am I? Still start again?
You didn't tell them who you were.
I don't know who I am.